Speed up your drafting without losing your flow. 3 tips, 3 tricks. Let's go. Tip number 1, ignore the urge to edit. Resist the temptation to edit while you write. I know it's hard to ignore those little typos and awkward sentences. I'm the same way. When I see the red squigglies, I have to do something about those red squigglies under the words. Now, like some of you may already know, you prefer to get a cleaner first draft by editing as you go. Or some of you, like a particularly talented friend of mine, might just write nearly perfect prose on your very first try. And if you're one of those people, this tip is not for you. But for the rest of us, stopping to edit while you write is like pumping the brakes while you're trying to accelerate. It's just going to slow you down. You can save the cleanup for later. You might save it until once you're done with your writing session. So once you've hit your word goal, you go through and make the edits then, or you can save it until all the way after your project is done, because realistically, some of those words won't even make it into your final draft. And so crafting them to be perfect isn't really worth your time anyways. However, I hear you. I hear what you're saying right now. You're saying, Robert, how is this supposed to make my draft cleaner and faster if I'm just ignoring the messes that I'm making along the way? Well, with that comes in tip number 2, use placeholders. Have you ever been mid-sentence and then you forget a character's name or forget where they put that really important thing, and if it's their left pocket, right pocket, or even where their hometown is or what it's called? Those are important details that can take some time to look up and find in your manuscript. So instead of doing that, just use little curly brackets and then write literally thing I forgot or which correct pocket. This lets you stay in your story zone without getting sidetracked by the details that you can fill in afterwards. The best part is then it's really easy to fix later because you can use find and replace to find those curly brackets, because you won't be using them anywhere else in your prose. Unless you're like using the weird like devil eyebrows emoticon or the one that looks like there's someone with a toupee. Tip number 3, try writing sprints. There is no time for distractions when you're writing against the clock. Set a timer for like 10, 15, 20 minutes and just go for it. Or if you're feeling up to it, you can come join us every weekday, Monday through Friday. We are going to be hosting a writing sprint for the month of November at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and you can come and join us. Something about a timer just nudges your brain into the just right mode and out of the overcomplicate overthinking mode, which is great because my brain never overcomplicates anything. Sprints give you permission to work quickly, which is kind of what NaNoWriMo is just in general. And so if you're trying to do NaNoWriMo, I highly recommend that you try doing word sprints either with yourself, with your friends, or with us if you'd like to come join us. Now on to the tricks. Trick number 1, try ending your writing sessions in the middle of a sentence. It might feel counterintuitive, but trust me, it works. When you pick up again, you already have the thought process going. You already know what the next word is going to be, so it makes it way easier to get back into your writing flow. Plus, this small trick keeps your brain simmering on your story because you left it unfinished. If you finish at the end of a paragraph or something, it's easy for your brain to just check that box as done. But if you're in the middle of a sentence, then your brain will continue working on that story as you go throughout your day. And that can also help you develop cool ideas, even when you're just doing the dishes or taking a shower and, all those other great moments where inspiration will strike us. Just one small itty bitty thing to remember is make sure that you do end in the middle of a sentence where you do know what the next word will be. Speaking from experience. Anyways, on to trick number 2, find an accountability buddy. Accountability is really important. Writing is often a solo journey, but finding someone to check in with makes a huge difference. Whether it's a friend, a NaNoWriMo buddy, or even a friendly competition, having someone to share your progress with helps keep you moving. Accountability turns writing from a chore into a team effort. For example, you may know Doug from some of the other events that we've been hosting. He and I have a wager that if I don't win NaNoWriMo, I have to change my computer background and screensaver to a picture of his face. Now, does he have a beautiful face? Of course. But do I want him to have the satisfaction of knowing that? Absolutely not. And finally, trick number 3, any progress counts. Consistency over perfection. That is the name of the game when it comes to NaNoWriMo. Don't worry if you fall behind or if you have an off day. Those things happen. What matters most is that you show up and that you do the work. Even if it's just a few words, those words add up over time. Soon enough, you'll have that draft in hand. Don't you quit on me. Don't you do it. There will be a moment where you'll be thinking, oh, I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or I'm too far behind, and then I want you to remember this face. This one. All right, that's it. Stick with it, stay consistent, let that story unfold. Happy writing, and keep pushing. Oh, and remember,